Howard is the best.
Look it up, dude.
Interviewer in the business.
Dude, I don't know.
Howard Stern.
The world of Howard Stern never stops.
I love you so much, Howard.
Howard Stern is the man.
Lieberman Live.
Wow, that's amazing. Howard 101.
We have a big show today. I am John Lieberman. This is a news show like none other, and we are glad that you're here on a Friday. Our big story coming up in mere moments. Lots going on in Boston with national and international implications. The Boston bomber case, of course, and the Aaron Hernandez case. We will debate it all. Our expert guest, former assistant prosecutor and current partner at the Bianchi Law Group, David Bruno. Our Whack Pack panel, speech impediment man and Marianne from Brooklyn. Let's get right to our spotlight issue of the day.
Lieberman Live, the big story.
As I mentioned moments ago, we're talking Boston bomber and Aaron Hernandez. Let's get to our featured guest.
Lieberman Live, the experts.
David Bruno is a partner at the Bianchi Law Group and a criminal law consultant for divorce attorneys and mental health professionals. You can find him online at bianchilawgroup.com. All right, David, we can never forget these words from President Obama. Take a listen.
Given what we now know about what took place, the FBI is investigating it as an act of terrorism.
So now you have jury selection underway for Dzhokar Tsarnaev, a 21-year-old. He's accused, of course, of carrying out the deadly bombings with his older brother Tamerlan, who was killed in a shootout with cops. He's facing the death penalty, and federal law requires all jurors chosen be willing to consider voting for the death penalty. Now, a majority of residents in Boston oppose the death penalty. So how difficult will it be, first of all, to seat a jury in this case?
Yeah, first, it's going to be a difficult time to pick an impartial jury, period, just because of the nationwide exposure and the allegations. However, when we get into these prosecutions with a death penalty consequence, they have to be death penalty qualified. What that means is we have to find jurors. They're going to pick 12 jurors and 6 alternates who all can, if this defendant is found guilty, impose a death penalty. In the state of Massachusetts, if this were a state prosecution like the Hernandez case, there would be no death penalty. So generally speaking, we're in a state who does not have the death penalty in the state prosecution.
Yeah, when you examine it closely, the jury will be the third in Massachusetts to consider a death penalty case in recent decades. In 2001, a jury found a nurse guilty of killing patients but did not sentence her to die. In 2003, a jury sentenced admitted serial killer Gary Lee Sampson to death, but that was overturned in 2011. Sampson is still awaiting a second trial. Do you see Tsarnaev, and I know we haven't seen all the evidence, but do you see him getting death?
Yeah, what's important is the evidence. There hasn't been a lot released. What I have seen is the indictment, which does show a lot of preparation on the part of these brothers. There were numerous Al-Qaeda propaganda downloaded to computers. I mean, there was the preparation of bombs. When they killed the MIT police officer, it was a cold-blooded killing. Once we get to the penalty phase, I feel that there is going to be a substantial amount of evidence to show that this individual deserves death.
And I know it's not directly related to this case, but you know these prospective jurors are watching TV and they're seeing what's unfolding in Paris with the terror attacks there. Does that play into a juror's mind? They hear terror, they see it on TV in the morning, then they come in and they're, being asked questions to sit on a jury in a terror trial.
It certainly does, and that's why the jury selection process is so important in this country. We have to find 12 jurors that are going to be fair and impartial and put those opinions and what we see in the media aside and make decisions based on the evidence.
One mystery in this case is that Tsarnaev's brother was married to a woman named Catherine Russell. Prosecutors won't say if she's a suspect, a witness, or simply, a widow who wasn't involved. She hasn't been charged with anything. First of all, what do you make of it? And second of all, this has to be part of the strategy, I would imagine, of the government not to put their cards on the table about this woman.
Sure. Investigation and prosecution, the key is integrity. And what's important as a former homicide prosecutor myself, you always want to keep your cards close, especially if they believe that evidence could still be developed in some way or that's going to be important later in the trial.
Yeah. I hate the term slam dunk, but from the evidence that we've seen, there is a mountain of evidence in this case. Would you characterize it as a slam dunk? And what's the best the defense can do here? I mean, the chances of an acquittal are very, very small.
I think people have to understand that there are two phases here. There's the guilt phase, and certainly the evidence is a mountain to overcome. We should pretty much fast forward to the sentencing phase at this point, because what the defense attorneys need to do in this death penalty case is humanize their client. Make the jurors understand that this is an individual who made a mistake and was influenced maybe by an older brother or some propaganda that he wouldn't humanize. That's the key. Mitigation and humanizing the penalty phase.
All about the mitigation. Let me open it up to the group for some debate. We're going to get to Aaron Hernandez in a moment.
Lieberman Live, the panel.
Marianne from Brooklyn, I want to start with you. Mr. Tsarnaev's lawyers tried to delay or move the proceedings to a different jurisdiction, but the federal judge said absolutely not. How will that impact the case, do you believe?
I don't care where they move. The man is guilty. I'm sorry he didn't die when I was petrified watching it on TV that night. It's slam dunk, and that's it. No matter where that case would be moved, it's death penalty.
Speech impediment man, David and I touched on this a moment ago, but this is from The Economist, quote, "This ultimately isn't about guilt. Prosecutors have reportedly amassed enough evidence linking Mr. Tsarnaev with the attack, but many hope it will help to answer the puzzling question at the center of the attack. Why did it happen?" Speech impediment man, are you hopeful we will get that answer?
Well, it's obvious it happened because this guy belongs to a terrorist group, and the terrorist group is jealous for America. That's why they want to kill everyone over here. So we need to kill these people.
But why at the marathon? Why the timing?
Well, that's how these organizations act. They do minor things to get publicity and stuff, and they're hoping that our country, will have compassion and won't do that much.
Do you see him getting death, speech impediment?
Yes. I
right.
see him getting death.
All right, let me switch gears now to the Aaron Hernandez trial, another biggie in Boston. Hernandez is 25. As you know, Marianne, he's looking at 1 count of murder and 2 firearms charges in the June 17th, 2013 killing of Mr. Lloyd, who was gunned down in a secluded field less than a mile from the player's home. Lloyd was a 27-year-old semi-pro football player who was dating Hernandez's fiance's sister. Now, a deal is in the works to grant immunity to Aaron Hernandez's fiance, who's been accused of ditching the gun used to kill Odin Lloyd, so she can testify for the prosecution in this murder trial. Is this a game changer, Marianne?
Yeah, it's a game changer, but how the hell has Aaron Hernandez got away with murder allegedly numerous times? His whole history is about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Give me a break.
Well, Marianne, though, you can't say he's gotten away with murder because he hasn't been tried yet.
But everywhere he's been, there's been a murder. There's been a murder wherever this kid has been. And you know what? His girlfriend or baby mama, whatever you want to call her, has to tell the truth, and she'll get off, and he'll go to jail and fine.
David, a cousin of Hernandez, is a Jennifer Urcado, has also been granted immunity. So if both of these people testify for the prosecution, is it game over for Aaron Hernandez?
Well, no, because the fact that these 3 individuals have gotten immunity does not mean that they're still going to cooperate. Especially in the case of the fiance. What I'd like to see now, let's not forget this the Commonwealth has petitioned for immunity for Shania Jenkins, the fiance. However, she can get on the stand and not answer questions. That does not mean she has to answer questions. What that means is if she's granted immunity, now she can be charged with contempt. Okay, so if the prosecution wants to call her and get immunity, doesn't mean she's going to answer those questions.
Very interesting point. Now, prosecutor's speech impediment man have alleged that Hernandez and his two buddies met up with Lloyd. They drove into a secluded area in an industrial park, and Lloyd was shot multiple times. But speech impediment man prosecutors have not said who they believe fired the fatal shots. They have asserted that Aaron Hernandez, quote, orchestrated the killing. In your opinion, how strong is the case against him?
Well, I think this guy, Aaron Hernandez, is a thug. I mean, this is just another case of money talks. I mean, these thugs are making football programs money, like Urban Meyer covered up a lot of shit in Florida for them. I mean, and
I have never heard Urban Meyer's name connected to the Aaron Hernandez trial, but then again, this program is like none other. Marianne, the murder weapon has not yet been found. Your thoughts?
Well, that murder weapon may never be found. Doesn't mean he's not guilty, and there's other evidence against him.
David, prosecutors won't be permitted to cover up a trophy case in Hernandez's home when jurors visit it during the murder trial. They wanted it hidden because they don't really want the jury, I guess, to be impressed by trophies, medals, photos. Will it make a difference?
I don't think so. I think that it was a good argument to make, but the defense was successful. Here, let the jury see the house as it was. If the trophy case was there at the time of the homicide, then they should see it.
Marianne, Hernandez was, of course, a tight end with the Patriots, a $40 million contract when he allegedly killed Lloyd. Why can't athletes stay out of trouble?
Maybe it's something in their nature and their blood. Maybe because you have to be so tough on the football field. Maybe there's something in your genetics. I have no idea. Not that I'm saying every football player is like that. But look at Jason Williams. I think this stuff goes to the head. But Hernandez has been a bad boy since he's been in high school, and it's documented.
Speech impediment man Hernandez has also pled not guilty in the fatal shootings of two other men in 2012 after a little run-in at a Boston nightclub. Will this guy ever see the light of day?
I hope not. I mean, this guy is a thug. I mean, someone talks shit to him and they shoot him. I mean, look what's happening in society. Kids are playing like Call of Duty. They're shooting people. I mean, we need to stop this and get control of it. It's just another case of the football player makes money for the football program. So Urban Meyer looks another way. The Patriots look another way. I mean, this needs to stop.
David, 10 seconds. The key to the Aaron Hernandez trial. What should we watch for?
Surveillance video. I mean, it says it all. They have video from the victim's house, across the street from the victim's house, of the car picking up the victim. They have video of this car going into the industrial park. What I really think, in addition to the surveillance video that's important, is they have a spent .45 caliber shell on the bottom of the car that Hernandez returned, the rental car.
We will look for it. I want to thank my absolutely terrific panel, David Bruno, a partner at the Bianchi Law Group. You can find him online at bianchilawgroup.com. And my Whack Pack panel, speech impediment man and Marianne from Brooklyn. Now you've heard from the experts in the Whack Pack. Now it's your turn to sound off. Call the Lieberman Live hotline, 908-758-4101. We give you a topic, you sound off, and maybe you'll be invited to join a Whack Packer on the panel. Here's the topic: marijuana. Should every state legalize it? Why or why not? What are your thoughts on the war on drugs? It's your turn to sound off. On the next Lieberman Live, yes, we're going to talk the supernatural, UFOs, aliens, all of it with an expert, and Riley Martin and Fred the Elephant Boy. You, my friends, can follow me on Twitter, at ReporterJohn, at ReporterJON. For now, stay safe, good night, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you Monday. Bye-bye.